This podcast is brought to you by Meteorate.
Welcome to the Two Cripples, One Pair of Legs podcast, where every fortnight, your hosts, Adam Shepherd and Tash Price, take a long, hard look at the world through the eyes of two people who believe in grabbing life by the balls and squeezing tighter than Borat in a mankini. The good, the bad, the often cringeworthy, but most importantly, the hilarity that can, and often does, ensue. If you're looking for fluffy sunshine and rainbows, My Little Pony meets Care Bears type of purity, you've probably come to the wrong place. If you're after good conversation, warped humour, quick wit, a touch of sarcasm, two proud people with disabilities with the no holes barred, leave no stump unturned outlook on life, welcome home.
Hello, everyone.
Greetings, how are we all?
Good. How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Life is good. My bum is still pointing to the ground.
Well, you've just come out of hospital, dude.
I did a 6-day stint.
You did. So for those of you that follow us, you may have noticed we missed last week's episode, and that was because the young man here is a royal pain in everybody's ass and ended up in hospital.
Yeah, I did. But I'm good now.
You're good. You're sorted.
Yeah, I am sorted. I mean, turn me upside down and I kind of rattle, but I'm on that many tablets and things, but it's not going to be forever.
No, that's
I'm
good.
determined. I mean, if it has to be, it is, but yeah. So, blood pressure. Who would have thunk it?
I would have.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, it's good to have you back. And since the last episode, we've done Gold Coast Marathon.
That was cool.
It was very, very cool.
Well, you did the marathon.
Yes.
I could sit here and say I did, but I didn't. I did the 10K.
Hey, I was proud of you. You did 10K a few days after coming out of hospital and smashed it. So
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and do it and have fun. The scenery and,
it's stunning.
The atmosphere is electric. And I'm like, I'm just going to push it. And
it's a wonderful
just
event.
have fun with it. So, and that's what I did. And time wasn't all that bad.
Hey, considering that you'd just come out of hospital, you were only a few minutes off your PB.
Yeah,
which,
I know.
Really isn't that bad at all.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Good job.
Thanks. Boom.
Yeah. Boom, motherfucker, boom. Anyway, shall we introduce our guest?
I think we should.
Okay.
You've got
you'll have to tell me which button because I have no clue. I can't see them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll see if I can do this.
So Adam here is going to try limboing because he's too scared to touch his mic in case it goes floppy on him, and that sounds way more disgusting than I expected it to.
My microphone needs medication.
Have you got a little blue pill anywhere? Okay.
That one.
Good job.
The water cooler.
So we're going to say hi to our guest. Hello, Caroline.
Hello,
Caroline. God.
So apparently Adam's hospital stay affected his ability to talk to. So Caroline Bellenger, this is the wonderful Caroline that we've been trying to get on the show for a little while, and we're really excited about having here today. How are you?
I'm happy to be here.
Good.
Negotiated Google Maps to get here.
I know, good job. I hear that you were sent on the run around a little bit.
Yes, she decided that I would see most of the northern Gold Coast on the way.
Excellent. Well, it was a sightseeing tour.
It is an awkward place to get to, this studio, though, because it's kind of hidden away a little bit. So, yeah, it's all right.
It could have been a straight line, and I still argue with Google Maps. I think it's the fact I argue with them.
Yeah, I've seen people do that.
Yeah. See, my Google Maps, it comes out and it's got an English woman's voice on it. And as soon as I got it, I changed it. Yeah. Well, Caroline probably hasn't heard this yet.
Everybody's heard this. Come on, carry on.
Yeah, I changed it because I've already got one annoying pom that tells me where to go.
Yeah, I knew what he was going to say. Right, okay, I'm going to intro Caroline. So,
do it.
Caroline Bellenger is a passionate self-esteem coach, inspirational speaker, and creator of the Be the Impossible even coaching programs. From childhood sexual abuse to over 20 years of addiction and mental health issues, Caroline finally got sober in 2009.
Yeah.
It was just an anniversary for you as well,
14
wasn't it?
years.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Since then, Caroline has gone on to represent Australia in triathlon, climb to Everest Base Camp, which is freaking cool, complete an honours degree, become world champion in surf lifesaving, have a successful corporate career, and be a multi-award winning entrepreneur, author and speaker. And this person sounds really cool.
I know.
I know she does, doesn't she? I'm looking forward to meeting her.
She achieved all of this as a sole single parent whilst volunteering hundreds of hours a year to various community organisations, including being an active surf lifesaver. I don't know what that is. Surf lifesaver. Caroline is passionate about inspiring women to reach their dreams. Caroline emphatically believes that if she can overcome significant life obstacles, then any woman given support and the encouragement can achieve the impossible. I totally agree. Her life's purpose is to create power, self-esteem in women so that they can reclaim their lives to discover joy and success.
Ooh, yeah.
I love it.
Love
What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful bio. I love reading out people's bios because you get to kind of hear them shine a light on themselves and all the cool shit that they've done. So yeah, it's really very, very cool. Right, you're going to want the questions, aren't you?
No, you're doing the questions.
No, you're doing the questions. I'm going to add to them.
Okay. We discussed this. Don't start with me.
I'm always
Just
starting
don't
with you.
do
It's
it,
what I do. It's where I
do
excel.
what you're told, Adam.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's what I do best most of the time.
Really?
No, maybe not. Okay, so what was the catalyst for starting Be the Impossible, becoming a life coach, and all the other stuff you do?
Wow. Hey, do you know what? It was never my intention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it organically grew from my own journey getting sober.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to AA,
Yeah.
and then I found running. I've always done sport,
Mm-hmm.
but I started running. I hated it to begin with. Hated it.
So many people say that. Hey?
You know, I literally couldn't even do like 200 meters without yelling at myself, yelling at my legs, yelling at everyone walking past. I was one of those runners that doesn't smile back then. And anyway, over time, I just built up. And then I realised an hour of running was way more satisfying, I suppose, than an hour in an AA meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The mental health benefits and just
Yeah.
and what it does for you, and the sense of achievement as well whilst you're building up. And it's also so true what people say about just get started, just get going, because you know, unless you get started, you're never ever going to achieve anything. So it kind of gets you going on that ball.
And I'm really strong on that. Just do anything. It doesn't have to be big. So from there, I was working in corporate and at the uni, and then decided I'd get my PT qualification.
Yeah,
I just finished my honours, my degree, because when I left rehab, they said, don't do anything major. I said, oh, great, I'll just sign up for uni.
And what was that in? Was it
Social science,
Yeah,
so welfare and government policy.
Awesome.
I was going to be a counsellor, but I decided I didn't really have the patience back then, especially.
Yeah, fair enough.
Opened a gym on the side, got my PT qualifications after I did that.
Nice.
And it was all around mental health.
Yeah.
And then I got into the industry and went, what the fuck is all this?
Yep.
You know, it was just 6-week shreds, diets, supplements, just all of it, body image. And I was actually heartbroken.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
Those rose-coloured glasses came off. So I think over time, I just organically started talking to my clients about their life and their relationships and their kids, and you know, if they've got teenagers, I said, you know, just ignore them. Just you know, it's okay. Yeah. And so it just organically grew from that. Really,
fair enough. I think people that have been through a lot of struggle in their own lives, often that actually ends up happening. It's like a natural progression from if you're a person that has found a way of overcoming your own issues, you then kind of you naturally gravitate towards helping other people, and it just seems like a natural progression often. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know, like when and I think that's what it's like. I still, it's funny because I guess sometimes when people say I'm inspiring or whatever, I go, oh really?
Yeah.
You know, because I don't see it. It's actually taken the next step in my journey to even have that appreciation, you know, for me, like being sober. You know, that's 5 to 10% of the population.
Yeah.
That stay sober.
Yeah. It's a tiny figure. Yeah.
So I think, that and just, finding that's what I was good at.
Yeah.
You know, when you just
Yeah.
you fall into stuff.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you do.
We can talk to that
Yeah.
because it's exactly the same as what's happened for us. It's
Yeah.
very much been saying yes to every opportunity,
Yeah.
and it kind of taking a life of its own, and a bit of a snowball effect, really. But
You kind of find, you stumble across what really, makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and what you're passionate about. And, we call it your why.
Yep.
And then you decide, this is what I'm meant to be here for. This is what I'm doing, and you roll with it, sort of thing. Well, we roll with it.
we roll with everything.
Yeah. So we talk about, in what we do, we talk a lot about your holy shit moment. That moment when you cruise along doing life, and then you get a kick in the face or a kick up the bum or whatever, and you realize that, there's more to what you could be doing, or, that flick of the switch, that mindset change. What was that for you?
Wow. Yeah, not one. I literally explain my life one meltdown at a time.
Yeah.
I would say since obviously addiction just was a world of its own as far as horror story. And then becoming a single mum there. So I got sober mostly because of my son.
Yeah.
So he was probably the reason behind that. There was no real moment except just waking up and going, I'm exhausted,
Yeah,
and
I
I
can't
can't
do
do
this
this. And I had
anymore.
this beautiful, amazing child,
Yeah.
and just going, I need to do better. So there
Yep.
was that moment.
Mhm.
Through my sobriety, oh my God, I lost my brother to cancer. I had some torrid workplace experiences, broken hearts in relationships. I've been ripped off in business.
Yeah.
But you know what? Every one of those moments has been a kick up the butt.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the thing when you have been through stuff. You get to that point where it's like, do you know what? I can either let this beat me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not very good at that. I'm
Yeah.
very competitive in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not competitive, but to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an Aries,
Yeah.
so it's like, well,
You're
fuck
fiery.
you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's just see who wins this.
Yeah.
So I think it was more like just a
Mhm.
roller coaster of them.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, once you've been through one situation and they keep happening, and you often find that with people, it's one thing after another. As shit as every situation it is, each time builds more skills and more resilience. And yes, it's all crap, it's all bollocks, you hate it all,
Yeah.
but you come out stronger and better equipped to deal with those situations each and every time.
Definitely, and I think that's it. You get better at it.
Yeah.
And I think when I got a mentor, so where I do my business coaching for Aaron Sansoni, when I got on board with that too, and I had that support
Yes.
and that kick up the bum at the same time. And just that whole reframing. Like now, if there's a challenge, I'm like, yeah, bring it
Bring
on.
it on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I'm going to find a way through, over, around,
Yeah.
or just get rid of it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the best thing
Yeah.
too. I think I'm at that later stage where I'm doing a lot of work. I know Esther Hicks. I'm
Mhm.
obsessed with Esther Hicks
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
the moment, right? Because I feel like I'm at that level now where I'm doing all the right stuff.
Mhm.
I think we can get caught up in doing the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but going, that real connection with aligning with it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
trying to
true.
get that.
So with the whole addiction thing, so was it drugs or alcohol or both? Or?
Whatever anyone give me, really.
Yeah,
Mostly
yeah.
alcohol. I think I started off when I started uni was when I probably first started drinking, and that just was a confidence thing.
Yeah.
I was being sexually abused by my uncle, so that was like a self-medication
Kind of to
thing.
block
Not that I really even understood that back then, to be
Yes.
honest. It's funny
Yeah.
because you say I drank because of that now, but I go, well,
Yeah,
but at the time I wouldn't have said that's why I was
in
drinking.
hindsight, you kind of get it, but at the time,
it
yeah.
was just. I think it was more for me. It was more the confidence and the popularity
Yeah.
to begin with, and I
Yeah.
felt because I felt like I was in the in crowd,
Mhm.
and then that just snowballed
Yeah,
really,
just spiraled out of control.
I would go, now I look at and I go there's some of us out there who have very addictive personalities.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
I can't stop at one piece of chocolate. I can't 200-gram pack of chips. You get to the bottom.
Yeah. yeah.
And I find myself now, especially because I'm sober and I'm aware that that's what I'm
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
When I am with a packet of chips, just going,
Sounds
and
fun.
I'll say to myself, Caroline, stop.
Yeah.
And then next minute my hand will be in.
Yep.
And I go, wow.
Yeah,
you know?
and it is so true. And I think alcoholism runs in my family, and I, for that reason, for most of my life, wouldn't touch a drop of alcohol from about from about the age of 15 onwards. Let's not talk about me before the age of 15.
Yeah.
But for that reason, I do allow myself a few now. But it's I find that there's you can have those addictive elements to yourself. For me, my addictions and my control issues have always actually ended up being around food. I will I will stop myself from eating things or stay away from stuff altogether because I don't want to bring out that addictive side of myself. But yeah, it's I think addiction is such an interesting subject, and I don't think it's understood anywhere near enough.
And especially and to be honest, my biggest bugbear is probably Aussie culture.
Yes.
Really, everything, and I didn't even realise that till I got sober. Because, when I was drinking, I just hung around with people who drank. You know, and you always hang around with people who drink as much as you, so you don't seem so bad. Or more. It's even great. I have some friends who drink more, and you go, well, I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
And we do that. But getting sober, right from, first birthday parties, the champagne would be out.
It's so
go
true.
anywhere, and recently, I'm so fucking annoyed that every time I go to an awards dinner or a networking dinner,
it's only
the tickets $300, but alcohol included package.
Yeah.
And I go, but I don't drink.
Yeah.
And there's no. And there's no options.
There isn't, and that's actually something I've spoken to you about before, Adam. Is I've said about the drinks packages, surely make the tickets cheaper and allow people, if they want to drink, they can, and then give more options. Just give more options, and that's to me that kind of stuff is encouraging people who do have issues with alcohol to drink more. And I think as a society we really, really need to step it up with our understanding and empathy for others, and kind of take that into consideration a little bit more. It's something I really, really noticed when I moved to Australia, is just how deeply ingrained alcohol is in culture here. Now, I'd say the binge drinking culture in the UK is huge, but alcohol on a daily basis, it's over here is just it's crazy to me. And the way it's still advertised on TV, and they're still sponsoring sports games and that kind of stuff. That just blows my mind. It's just always in your face. So it must be really hard for those that don't want to drink to actually keep themselves away from it.
Yeah. It blows my mind that whenever it was late 80s, 90s or so, the decision was made that cigarette companies would no longer sponsor sport.
Yep.
Why didn't they? I don't understand why alcohol didn't.
Yeah. It blows my mind that you can. It blows my mind you can
honey.
go to a sporting game and still buy a beer. In the UK, you can't do that, and you haven't been able to since the 90s.
Which blows my mind, because if you've ever seen anything about European football, European sports teams and whatnot, they're throwing flares everywhere, and there's riding,
that's why.
But it's not alcohol.
I was going to say,
But that's why
that's that cult. But it comes back to, again, culture. And it's not even the alcohol, it's the culture around the alcohol.
It's so true. True.
So it is really hard for anyone trying to stay sober or not drink, because it's in your face
constantly
all the time. And I'll say, I learned early, and I had to avoid social life for the first 2 years.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And then, then the pressure of being asked constantly, do I want to drink?
Yeah.
In the end, my best response turned out to be, oh, no, sorry, alcoholic.
Yeah.
And that was
the
only thing.
People will leave you alone then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when I get into discussions about how bad they drink, then they'd fess up.
Yeah, I bet that's happened a few
really
times. Yeah.
Good conversations. So it wasn't just that it stopped people harassing me. I actually found that I ended up having some really deep conversations with people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
About that.
I think I think it's getting more socially acceptable not to drink these days.
Yeah.
It is getting better. It is still a hell of a long way to go. But I remember I used to go to parties and nightclubs and all that kind of stuff. I used to work in a nightclub, or lots of different nightclubs, and I was constantly had a barrage of questions and accusations because I didn't want to drink. I didn't drink in those days. And I feel very lucky now that generally doesn't happen as much. If I say I don't want to drink, it's mostly it's like fair enough. Although like I said, I do allow myself a few these days. But it's there are improvements, but there's still quite
definitely
a long
getting
way
better.
to
I think
go.
all the non-alcoholic drink companies, is better. I don't even like having my soda waters in a wine glass. For me, someone who's like an
best
addict,
to just stay away
just
from
like
it. Yeah.
It's a slippery slope.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Because that association's still there.
So do you find it hard still? You've been sober for quite some time now. Do you still struggle?
Look, only now if things are really shit.
Yeah.
So I had a really last 12 months has been challenging, and that's the only time that I really get into. And it's more around, I don't think I ever would. It's more like I sit there and go, oh my God, I just want to have 3 bottles of wine and not have to think
about it. Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
I take a Tamaz and go to sleep instead. Same but different.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, fair enough.
But no, do you know what? The longer I've been sober, I actually honestly go, when I go out, I get so excited that I don't drink.
Yeah.
Because I literally go, oh my God, there is nothing alcohol can give me now that I can't do.
Without,
the only thing it does is take away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
From me now. So it's like a subtractive thing for me rather than adding to anything.
And that's probably the best mindset to have.
I was going to say that's a great mindset to have. Absolutely. Yeah. So you're an athlete now and an athlete that's represented our fair country.
Yes.
And do you think the mindset that you've got now, that athletic mindset, has helped you in struggles that you face day to day now?
Absolutely. And I'm sure you guys would resonate with that. I put so much into just anything in a workplace, anything in a home life, anything in a relationship. When you build up that physical endurance, it helps your mental endurance. So it pushes you. You can push through limits.
Yes.
And it gives you, I think, that drive. And it's really good for because one of the things that people struggle with is goal setting. As simple as it is, but New Year's resolutions are a fine example of that. Everyone wants to do it, but very few people actually reach their goals. Whereas when you're, doing competition or something like that, when you've got a goal like that, it's very specific. So you actually just learn the habits of goal setting as well. And I fluctuate on that.
You're human, and everybody does.
I've only just got my running back, which is good. It's been missing COVID. I go COVID or perimenopause. I'm really not quite sure which was worse.
I reckon a few people would mirror that as well. Say a few people, a few women.
Yeah.
So what took you from, alcoholism and the struggles of that to being an athlete, to representing our country, to triathlon and the thing that you love?
So again, it's just this organic thing, because when I first started running, I joined Parkrun.
Yes.
I love Parkrun. It's my favourite thing, for people, because it doesn't matter what level you're at.
Yep.
Yes.
And when I first got there, my son was only 10 then. And I used to say to him, oh my God, look at all those women in my age group. They just must run all day. They're freaks. That's all they do. They're obsessed. And about 2 years later, when I was one of the fastest in my age group, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm one of those women.
I've now joined them.
Yeah, and I just enjoyed it. My son was doing triathlons. I wasn't. I had no intention. I'm a slow swimmer. I couldn't ride a bike because I had a big crash when I was 15. So paranoid.
Yeah.
And still have anxiety. And so on a bike, I was just a shocker. But I also didn't want to sit around for 2 hours while he did a triathlon.
Yeah.
So I went, okay,
I'm
in.
Kind of sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar.
I mean, I do a 10K, but
yes.
while you do a marathon, but
but still, it's the
still.
same
and
kind of
I
thing.
do that to a lot of parents. I go if you're going to take your kid to sporting events, go and do something yourself.
Do something yourself.
Because to be honest, your kid doesn't want you there.
Yeah,
that's what I've learned as a coach of nippers and footy. I go, honestly, the kids are much better for the coach when you're not there for a start.
True.
And the kids actually perform better when they haven't got
Got
you
that pressure
there
and-
with the pressure on them.
My son Fletcher, he's only 6, but he's we've joined the local little athletics club, and he loves it. Like he's itching to get there. They're about
He's super competitive.
Oh,
I wonder where he gets that
My
from.
Yeah, exactly.
But when we did that, I was like, you know what? I want to be involved too. What can I do? Like, get me involved in the club. Tell me what I can do to, be involved, because, it was something that him and I could do together as well. Whether, like you say, whether he actually wants me there or not.
But I think when you're involved,
Yeah.
but when you're involved, like when I did surf lifesaving, so nippers we started, and that's how I got into surf competition as well.
Yeah.
Because that was just because he was nippers. He finished nippers years ago, and I did like
Just carried on.
officialing and age manager, and I was president there for a little while and all that. So being involved with your kids brings you closer together as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Awesome.
So what's coming up in the life of Caroline Bellenger?
Well,
Is that a huge question?
That's a huge question. I think sporting wise, I had started training for the half marathon in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done a long distance for a long time.
Yeah.
But I just found out from the 2 girls I made sign up that it's sold out.
Oh no, you haven't signed up.
Well, I tell you what, tomorrow morning we're getting on a plane to go to Cairns, so you could come to Cairns with us.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Jump on that. So I've got to put myself on the wait list. I'll find a ticket. I'm good at going like, I'll find a way.
Yeah,
There's a way
yeah.
to get a ticket for that. That's
Oh,
fine.
you could do the full marathon
Well,
instead. That
no,
one's
that's sold out too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
God, I tell you what, a lot of events are selling out this year, I've noticed,
Yeah.
which is really unusual, and selling out really early. So, yeah, so any marathoners out there, guys, make sure you do your registrations
Yeah.
early this year, because everything is just going.
We went down for Melbourne Marathon a few years ago. You won't remember that because it's when you tried to make out with a hurdle.
Like,
And-
more hurdles.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't remember, do you?
I don't remember now.
No, we went down and then made the call that it wasn't safe for you to do it. So you and I just had a nice 3 days in Melbourne cruising around and just seeing the sights. Because we'd already booked the accommodation, we'd booked the flights, we were going anyway. But
Oh, it was pretty close to the head injury, wasn't it?
it was like a week later.
Yeah.
And you
I
just,
don't-
it was, at that point in time,
So we actually went.
we did go, yeah.
Oh, fuck, I can't remember anything.
Yeah, but at that time you were forgetting 5-6 times a day where you were. So I was like, my thing was, you're going to be out in a marathon course for 2 to 3 hours. How many times during the course of that are you going to look around and go, holy shit, I don't know where I am and how did I get here?
I have one memory from Auckland Marathon, which was scheduled a few weeks after that, which I actually ended up doing. And the only memory I have from doing that race is getting to the top of Auckland Harbour Bridge and going, holy fuck, where am I? And I looked down and saw I was in my racing chair, and the my lead cyclist in front of me went, okay, I just follow the cyclist. Just follow the cyclist.
I only have ever had that moment after a night out.
Yeah, I bet.
wake up going, where the fuck am I? Who's that?
Who am I and how did I get here? Oh, no.
Oh, God. I reckon everybody's had one of those in their life.
All right, a couple of quick fires.
Yep.
Do you have bucket list, and if so, what's at the top of it?
Bucket list, Kona, and write a book.
Nice.
Oh, yes. Kona would be awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Write a book. Hey, so you haven't written one yet?
Not my own book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you've done the whole co-author
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Well, we've just signed up for another one as well.
We
haven't
have, yeah.
Which I love that. I love that
That
process.
it's
good.
fantastic. It's fantastic. But yes, you've got to write your own
Yeah.
book. You've got so much knowledge and
Yeah.
such an amazing story to tell. You
Yeah.
just get that message out there. Yeah. Love it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What's the thing you would do if fear wasn't a factor?
What would I do if fear wasn't a factor?
Do you feel fear?
I hate heights.
Heights.
Yeah.
Cool.
Guilty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really necessarily, because that Everest was like
Yeah.
a bit like that. But
Mm.
I don't know. I would. I always go if it's something I want to do. Like, I don't know that fear. The great thing about what I've done, becoming a coach and that with neurolinguistic programming and all that hypnosis-y stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is like fear's not real.
Yeah.
Mm.
And,
So
and
there
fear,
are
fear
ways
is
to-
something you should harness in order
Yeah,
to drive you
and
forward.
go, how do
Yeah.
you push through those things.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We didn't ask about Everest. How did that go? How did that come about? I mean, what an incredible experience.
Well, my son was finishing HSC.
Yeah.
And I was working at uni. That was my worst ever year at uni for toxic bullying. We were going through it. Was just words don't even explain. I was mental breakdown material.
Yeah.
So we booked Everest like it was for him. Oh, you're gonna climb mountains. So I personally thought that I had 2 weeks zenning around a mountain after my stressful year.
Yeah.
So I did no research.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing. The thing is, again, every time you're having a moment, this little Sherpa would walk past with a fridge, or, or like 20 cartons of water.
Oh, wow.
Up the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
And you just go, oh, get over yourself.
Yeah.
The last climb, Everest, was fine. We lost half our crew to altitude sickness.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The last climb, my son and I were the only ones who did it. So it was like to Kalapatar, which is a little bit higher than Everest.
Yeah.
And it was 4:00 in the morning, negative 30 degrees.
Jesus.
We've climbed out, looked at each other and went, we don't have to. And then we're like, oh, the Sherpa's going to be waiting for us. We better just go out. Right?
Yeah, but it's funny how that little,
right?
It pushes you.
And we went, every 15 minutes. It was about 2 hours. But every 15 minutes we'd sit on a rock in the freezing cold, drinking our water and going, we don't have to go any further. And then we'd go, all right, we'll try one more. Again,
and it's
a little bit more time.
It's exactly the same.
Halfway up, I thought, I can't be bothered putting my water bottle back in the pack. The next time we got it was just 5 minutes later, it was frozen solid. I went, that's why you wrap it in your sleeping bag in the pack. Okay.
Even that's an athlete mindset, though.
Yeah.
Like, I was just thinking, because, we go out and do a hard cardio session or, longer distance session, and, you get to 5Ks of 30K, and you go, okay, 5Ks in, I can keep doing this.
1/6 done. Only 5 more seconds.
It's like a countdown.
And the best part was the competitive bit came in because there was just him and I and our Sherpa. And it was dark and it was just starting to get light. And we're at the last bits about, I reckon, 400 metres of rocks. And you just have to climb over these rocks. And I'm really uncoordinated. But behind us was like another group because we could see the headlights. And we went, oh, my God, we're going to be the first ones up. Like we can get up there and take photos with no one else around.
I love it.
And me, I'm all about the photos. As you know from all my events, I'm all about the photos.
Yeah.
So we just scrambled as fast as we could. And standing on the top of that, around this circle was the mountains, but the mountaintops then glow gold.
Oh, wow.
Circling right around us was these
incredible
gold mountaintops, and it was just him and I and our Sherpa.
Oh, see,
so
that is worth going through every moment of that to get there.
I reckon we should do that. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll drag ourselves out up on our asses. We'll be right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you could.
We've already talked about. We've talked about Kokoda.
Yeah, we have. Considering Kokoda.
Yeah.
Because you can always grab, if you get those bits where you can't take your wheelchair, you can grab a horse. Because they have horses and that.
Oh, okay.
Going up to. So you could do sections. You could do it so you could do sections.
I know, I do know of one para that's done, I think he did Himalaya base camp. I can't think of his name now, but yeah, I really think that would be such a really cool
and it's beautiful.
experience.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Ads?
Yeah, I'm keen. I haven't got any legs anymore, so
it's easier for you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, you'd be right. I might get a few cuts, but
you might.
I'll just chop my legs off to join you. It'd be easier.
Hey, look,
matchy.
I know. I know a good surgeon.
Yeah, you do. 2 for 1.
Yeah, he'd look after you.
Right.
All right. Very last question. What is something about you people might be surprised to know?
I think people would be surprised to know that I'm actually quite introverted.
Yeah.
I'm good when I'm in conversation, but I don't necessarily like being out in big groups. I don't like networking.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting over my fear of public speaking, but I have to completely separate myself.
Yeah.
I don't like attention. Like I don't celebrate birthdays or things like that. I'm getting better at learning to do that.
Yeah.
As a self-esteem tool
Yes.
and a self-worth tool rather than wanting to do it. Yeah, so I'm happy at home by myself with my cat.
Do you know what, though? I think a lot of people that have struggled with addiction have that kind of personality that they often start drinking or taking drugs as a confidence thing because they don't feel comfortable being around other people, and they're trying to figure out a way of being able to do that. And they don't realise in the process that they're actually making themselves less appealing to others, which is such a shame, and that often happens. But I completely understand that thing about being an introvert, because there's a lot about me that's very introverted, and I've always been extremely uncomfortable speaking publicly and all that kind of thing. And you wouldn't believe it, I now do that for a living, but it's I think there's a lot of people out there that have that struggle, and it's really interesting.
Do you think when we're in the car and you're backseat driving, you could be a little bit more introverted?
No, hell no. Or maybe you could learn to drive better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. Oh, you seem so hurt. I didn't. I'm sorry.
Maybe you just need to find somebody else to drive you around.
No, they wouldn't be as much fun, and I couldn't take the piss out of them so much. I get away with it with you.
Caroline Bellenger, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Do you have a website or something that you'd like to give the listeners?
Is www.carolinebellenger.com, or my social is Caroline Bellenger Official.
Excellent.
Absolutely. So
we'll put it in there.
Yeah, that will be up on the live.
Thank you, and I love you guys, and I love what you do. And and that's it. I think. Because you send that message, and that's why I only do podcasts with people I like.
Good.
And you inspire me. But you know what? Life can be a struggle and can be fun.
Yeah,
and I think that's what I want people to
absolutely.
know. Just because you're struggling doesn't mean you can't
find
have
joy in it
fun
still.
or find joy in it as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
100%.
And then at the same time you go, it sucks. It fucks, but that's okay.
It is. And we're humans. We all have struggles. Everybody has some form of challenge in their life. It's just how you choose to deal with it up here that's the biggest thing. That's going to choose your end result for you. If you can find a positive way of feeling about the shit you're going through, at least you can still experience some happiness, even if it's not in that area.
Yeah. I always like it. People say to me, and, very different, but, people say to me, holy shit, you had your legs cut off and you're totally cool with that. I'm like, yeah, but if you knew my background and you knew the other crap that I'd been through and all the other stuff and how close I'd come to, death and whatever in the past, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like when you look at
relative.
When you look at it in a relative way, it's really not.
And your legs were fucking useless anyway.
They really were.
You're faster now.
Yeah, exactly.
He so is. So is. I'm so jealous.
I used to say to people look at go, oh, what do you? My legs literally look like they come off they were all different shapes, different sizes. One was bigger than the other. It was like they were from two different people. It was really weird.
One Yeti and an octopus or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I'm on the fly there.
Thank you again.
Thank you for coming in. It was really, really good talking to you. Well, I think we need to try and get you in again as well, because I had lots more questions than we had time for. So if
us introverts can talk when we're in a quiet little room together.
I know. Anyway, thank you. And we'll catch up with you again soon.
Like two cripples using a beach towel to skydive. This could go anywhere.
Oh, you've just played two stop.
Welcome to the soapbox session.
The kindness virus. Two playing over each other there.
You know
right?
what? I actually got it right the first time, and because I got it right the first time.
All right, should we start again?
Yeah, why not? Right. Do you want me to hit the button again?
No, we don't have to, because oh no, we do have to. Yeah, sorry. Let's start again.
Like two cripples using a beach towel to skydive. This could go anywhere. Welcome to the soapbox session. I can't believe I just cocked that up.
Oh, you monumentally cocked that one up.
I started playing it. I'm like, hang on, that's not the right one. Then I played something else, and I'm like, oh no, shit, it was right the first time.
And then we had two playing at the same time. It's fun to know that can actually happen, because I had no idea.
No, maybe we should just hit them all at once.
Mix it up and see what happens.
I reckon that'd be fun. So soapbox session. So we've been looking at lately, and been in the circle of a lot of athletes lately that and talking about funding for athletes and particularly our elite athletes that, you know, have represented our country and you know, what kind of, you know, and the money that they have to fork out for competition and things like that. And they don't get barely any
support or funding.
Any support.
Okay, so I think this has come about because you know, we've spoken to a few people recently, especially through our association with the Wattle Nest. Guys, look them up, Wattle, and listen to Rachel Condos Fields' episode.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rach.
You're a bloody legend.
What we're finding is, even in certain sports, there is a lot of money being thrown around. If you know, NRL, you know, rugby, football, soccer, those kind of team sports, there's a lot of money being thrown around. So athletes are really, really well supported. They're having the best of the best in training, in recovery, in coaching, in all aspects of their career. Now, if you go over to most Olympic sports, and you know, the plenty of sports that are also not so well known. It's all self-funded, and these athletes don't get paid as professionals. Yesterday we were speaking to a 4-times Olympian that was having to live in her car because she during her competing days, because she couldn't find the money to be able to pay for all her competitions, pay for travel, and afford, you know, a living and all that kind of stuff.
$50 a day, $50 a week is what she was getting at the time.
The support.
I mean, you know, and it's not like, you know, she was training as a full-time athlete. She was also studying as a full-time, student. Like,
so she had a law degree, but couldn't go and work because training and competition was taking up so much of her life that, and she was away so much that she couldn't hold down. She couldn't keep a full. She
was saying she's away like 200 odd days a year.
You can't hold down a job when you're doing that. And yes, competitive sport, that's your choice. However, if you're going out and competing for your country, you're bringing, you know, a lot of awareness and that kind of stuff to what your country is doing, and you're you know, contributing to tourism and so many other things. Surely there is a better way for people to find supports. Now, we can step that up even further and say that in para sports, it's even worse. It is, for example, for me doing a marathon. If I was able-bodied, for one of the major marathons, you win like 15,000, 20,000. As a disabled athlete, for the majority, like 99.9% of them, you'll be lucky to get $800. Now, if you think about what the able-bodied athletes have to pay for out of their own cash, a pair of shoes, basically, running shoes, that's any different to what the para athletes have to pay for. And a racing wheelchair, a decent racing chair can cost upwards of $15,000. You know, some of the top guys, their chair is like 60 grand plus. So,
absolutely.
There's just so much disparity. Why can't I say that word? Disparity between between different sports and once again, especially between para sports. Like, where is the fairness in this? Where is, you know, and it's, if you've got to think about it, it's not just competition you're paying for, it's training costs, it's recovery costs. You have to understand that. I mean, I haven't. When was the last time I took a holiday? Because A, can't afford to, but B, having to work full time running a business and train as a full time athlete. It's, if there was more supports out there, then situations such as mine and such as many people that are elite athletes wouldn't be happening. And there needs to be more awareness around it, because guys, just because someone is representing this country doesn't actually mean they're getting paid a damn penny for it.
It's such a thing. You know, people just assume that these, you know, these top level elite athletes that we see splashed across our news and, you know, newspapers and, you know, radio and stuff, you know, it's such an assumption that, you know, they're on $1 million contracts and, you know, they're getting.
And at the end of the
they're
day,
really not.
They're really not. And like I said, unless you're in a top level team sport, you basically, you'll be lucky to be earning anything out of it. And you know, obviously they're trying to make pay parity between the Olympics and Paralympics now, but that's, you know, still kind of waiting to happen. There's not prize money for many. We know of a trampolinist that's just, she won the world championships and came home with $300, which it wasn't even enough to pay for her leotard, let alone the costs of getting there. I just think, and athletes give back so much.
You know, in a country like Australia, like we're sports obsessed in this country. Like we really are. Very,
very well known worldwide for our sporting prowess. As a POM, as an English person. That came to Australia, the one thing that I was always so excited about was Australia. It's sports. It's the sports capital of the world. You know, Sydney Olympics. My God, this is so exciting. Yet we're not looking after our athletes in the right way.
And, you know, if we didn't have that, you know, okay, we might be known for our beaches and, you know, whatever.
Whatever.
And, you know, our deadly creatures and stuff.
You're well known for the deadly creatures like you. Sorry.
Yeah. But, you know, without, that's what we are. You know, we're a tourist destination. We're a sporting destination. You know, so let's prop that up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And appreciate what the athletes and the athletic community and, you know, in sport in general. Do you need a drink?
No, I'm okay. I'm good.
Sport in general give back to our community overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't, you know, people generally go into sports, well, yes, because they love it and enjoy it, but at the same time, it's about the mental health benefits for everyone, the physical benefits for everyone, the encouragement, the support, the sense of community. It's such a wider thing than just somebody playing sport. So that all needs support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it really does. Anyway, if anyone wants to know anything more about this kind of thing, seriously look at the Wattle Nest, because they're an organisation that are doing great things to empower athletes and to help athletes connect with business communities and others in order to give back. So I think it's it's a really interesting collaboration there. But anyway, cool.
I think we've
covered that well.
We've covered that well. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Shall we move on?
Do it. Limbo.
Social media
This is interesting. I'm gonna get myself into trouble for this, and I'm fully aware that that's gonna happen. But
I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride. No, I'm not, because I've got stuff to say too.
Because more and more, you hear the term triggered. I'm triggered by that, or this triggered me, or, you know, trigger this and trigger that.
And everywhere you look on social media, if someone's offering a post that has an opinion, trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning this, trigger warning that.
Have we lost? Okay, and this is the part that I'm going to get in trouble for. Have we lost the point between, are we blurring the lines between something that is a trigger because of something that...
Because of severe past trauma.
Something that's actually happened to you, or is it triggering you because it's just pissed you off?
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't agree with that person.
And you can't cope with that person's opinion.
Exactly.
There's a real big difference between something that requires a trigger warning because it is something that could be seriously detrimental to somebody's mental health.
I'm absolutely not belittling anybody who's
100%.
Legitimately triggered by something, because I totally get that.
Well, you can talk about it yourself, from like whenever you have to talk about your kidney issues. It's something that's triggering for you because you often get very upset, and you've said to me before you wonder if there's a little bit of PTSD there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's something that's very, very tough for you.
I think I've learned to, you
you have gotten better at controlling those emotions.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a hard slog.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think 100%. If you're talking about big subjects such as, you know, rape, domestic violence, alcoholism, there are a lot of miscarriage. There are a lot of really, really big subjects that definitely require trigger warnings. However, if you're just giving your opinion on a subject, in general, people that are then coming back and screaming at you and saying, "Oh, I'm so triggered by that."
Yeah.
I think it's taking it too far. It's taking it way too far. People are allowed to have different opinions. Everybody has their own opinions in life. You're entitled to them.
My concern is that in a world where, once again, I'm trying to be delicate in how I say this, but in a world where, buzzwords have become a thing.
The trigger thing's become a bit of a buzzword.
It really has.
Yeah, and it's a shame because it's actually taking away from something that is a really serious.
It's legitimate. Absolutely.
It is very, very serious, and it's a crying shame. It's yet another example of how something becomes watered down because it's used too much in the wrong context. Yeah, it's a shame, really. I don't know what the solution is with it, to be honest, but guys, you're not triggered just because you're upset by something. Yes, you're entitled to be upset by it, and you're annoyed by it,
be annoyed,
frustrated, whatever. But there's a real big difference between being really emotionally triggered to the point where it's detrimental, and it's something that requires warning, to just fucking not liking something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody doesn't like something. That's just, human nature. We all have different opinions. But
I think, and we're definitely in that, like in 2023, we're definitely in that, that space now where, words that have meant the same thing for, 6 million years are being misrepresented for other things, we were talking about the dictionary a few episodes ago about, new words coming out, which I just think is an absolute...
Some of them are just ridiculous.
I just think is a crock of shit, to be honest. But,
But yes.
Password child.
Oh, I know, what the fuck?
Oh, my God.
Maybe that's triggering to someone.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that child was named as a password and I wasn't, so...
Well, maybe that's triggering you.
Yeah, it could be triggering me. It probably is. Although it's probably not my sister anymore, but my niece instead.
Yeah. But she's cute.
Yeah, she is.
She likes me too, so
she loves you.
Yeah.
Addie!
It's only taken 2 years. 2 years, but
no. If she ever says she was having a little bit of a cry on Saturday morning. I always look after her on a Saturday, and I had her on my own this weekend, and I don't think she was very well, love her. And when she's not well, she gets a little bit boisterous and a little bit sad. So do you know what I did to calm her down?
What's that?
I showed her a video on Instagram of you and I training, and she's like, "Tata, Addie," honestly. And she sits there for like half an hour just looking at these videos of you and I, and she's obsessed with them, absolutely obsessed. I don't know. I don't know what it is about our training videos, but yeah, she loves it.
Oh, I got a new friend, so I'm happy.
Yeah, she's happy.
It used to be though, like
she calls you. I've managed to persuade her to call you Stumpy these days.
Oh my God, I preferred Addie No Toes.
Yeah, well she does. She said what she does. She goes, Addie Toes No.
Addie Toes No. Dear.
Very funny.
Shall we move on?
Sure, why not? Let's
go to Moron of the Day.
Let's go to Moron of the Day.
It's the Moron of the Day. Excellent.
Do you know what? In this episode, I've noticed we haven't actually done any segues into our segments at all.
No.
The segs are missing into the segs.
The segs are missing.
We have shit job today, Adam. Shit job.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying both of us.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to work on that. You think, what are we up to? Episode what?
This is 18, 19, I think.
One of these days we'll get better at it.
Yeah, well, no, I've been doing it really well for the past little while, but yeah today it's just all gone to shit.
Completely fucked it up. Oh, dear. So, our Moron of the Day today, and I don't know if this is moronic or maybe it's just a little bit
ableist?
Over the top ableist.
Yeah. Okay, so can I tell the background
to what
led to this?
Yeah, you do.
So we Adam got to experience the first at the
It
age
was
of
so
41. We went ice skating
It was so cool.
at a local theme park, and it was a wonderful
It
experience.
was.
Last year they wouldn't allow us wheelies on the ice, but this year they've had a
Mm-hmm.
change of policy, and thank you very much to them, because it's meaning that people like Adam, who after 41 years on this earth have actually got to experience something that they've never experienced before, and actually go ice skating
It was
in our
cool.
wheelchairs.
Yep.
It was freaking fantastic.
Yes, it was.
Like so much fun.
I'll actually post a video of both of us on the social media pages a little bit later on today. So
yeah, do it, because
I will.
it was a shit ton of fun. I mean, we were enjoying ourselves.
Oh God, yeah, we were.
We were
Yeah,
enjoying
we
ourselves.
were.
But anyway, our enjoyment led to this situation.
They got us into the rink. They had to lift us up onto.
Yeah, so that was the funny
Mm.
thing. So there was
Yeah.
a ramp that went up onto the rink. So it's not a permanent ice skating rink.
No.
It's just for their winter festival.
Yep.
It's just a temporary structure that goes
Yep.
up for 3 weeks out of the year.
Yep.
And there's a ramp that goes up onto the rink. However, when you get
There's this big steel bar that then you've got to get over. So
Yeah.
they lifted us up to get over the bar and onto the ice, which was really, really cool. So I was like, literally, you and I were the first people on there. So I
Yeah.
just did one hot lap.
Yeah, because they were another 5 minutes off allowing anybody else
Mhm.
to get on the rink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I did that, and then I came over to you because you just got on the ice, and this lady says to me, I need you to be careful and slow down. You don't need to be hitting anybody. We don't want you hitting anybody. I'm like, 41 years as a wheelchair user, and I'm going to fucking start hitting kids.
Yeah,
Good job.
I don't, and see, this is where our problem is.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be saying that to anyone on ice
No.
skates. If somebody was speeding around on ice skates, they were,
Yeah.
they just allow it. But there were also people on ice skates falling over left, right, and centre with their blades, pretty near to a lot of people's
Yeah.
fingers in the process. And what the problem I have with this is the assumption that because we're in wheelchairs that we're not as much in control of things. And I need to point out here, we were far more in control of
Than anybody else
on that ice rink.
We really were.
Yeah, like when you're using a wheelchair as your only means of getting around, as your only mobility device, and you're in a rigid frame active chair, you are very much in control of things. Like, there are legs. You learn to use them in the same way as anybody else would their legs. So making this assumption that you're going to knock somebody over just because you're in a wheelchair, it gives me the shits big time.
Absolutely.
It's that level of unconscious bias there that allows a person to make the assumption that you're not going to be as much in control. And that's where, and I know that nobody means anything offensive by it.
I think that they've got to do their due diligence and
Absolutely.
safety and whatever else. And
Absolutely, but
this
that's
particular thing,
but at the end of the day, there's nobody else is being told that, and there's, like I said, people falling over, being very out of control of their bodies, and they've got sharp blades on their feet, which are kicking into kids and all sorts. So I
actually had more control than I expected I would.
Yeah, I know, me too. It was actually it was very easy.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't feel that much different to just being on a slightly wet surface just on a concrete surface.
If you wanted to slide or
Bless you.
that's cold from being on the ice. If you wanted to slide or do something, it was a conscious decision to do it.
It wasn't because we were out of control.
No.
I mean, we did a lot of slides.
We might
a few handbrake turns.
A few handbrakies in
but
a wheelchair.
Can I just point out,
Yeah.
when we were doing that, we consciously made sure that we were the opposite end to where the people
Absolutely.
were. We were
There
nowhere
was
near.
nobody around.
Yeah.
Nobody
There was
around.
literally no one anywhere near us.
So it remains to be seen as to whether they'll allow it again next year.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it
hooning
may or
around.
may not be our fault.
Well, look, at the end of the day, hopefully we actually showed how controlled wheelchair users are on that ice. And, well, I think what they might find in the last few days is that 150 million people have headed their direction in wheelchairs because we made it very well known socially on social media. And I think I got about 1 million messages saying, oh, where was that? I want to go. And, lots of people taking
It was a
their
heap
kids,
of fun.
so
It was a heap of fun. And,
it was.
and kudos to those guys for
actually listening to the feedback last year and making it so that mobility device users could use that ice rink, because once again there's mostly 99% of ice rinks won't allow wheelies on the ice, but hopefully we showed and demonstrated just how safe and well controlled we are, and that we don't actually need to be treated any differently to anybody else that's going on the ice. It was fantastic fun. Loved every second of it, and wish that we could keep hooning around now, because all I'd say is I've had the worst arthritis flare since, though. I've hardly been able to move my hands. So if anyone's noticed, I've been sat here the whole time massaging my hands from pushing my cold, the metal push rims. It's caused an arthritis flare, but whatever. It was worth it.
Was it? I was going to say,
well worth it. Well worth it.
All right, last one.
Hey, we're doing well. Come on, then, last one. Let's do it. The kindness virus.
Do you want to share?
Oh no, I'm just laughing at me shouting down the microphone. Oh. Let's do it!
Let's do it! The kindness virus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you got the photo up of the thing we're going to talk about?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this week's kindness virus on this episode. So we did the Gold Coast Marathon Festival a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah.
Couple of weekends ago?
Yeah, 10 days ago.
10 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this kindness virus goes out to all those amazing people who didn't necessarily have to, but chose to drag their asses out of bed at stupid o'clock in the morning.
The freezing fucking cold.
To support everyone who did it. The people with the signs and shouting, and there was it's so cool. Like there's people there playing music, and
Gold Coast Marathon is a big event. Marathon Day, I think there's like 50,000 that take part in the marathon, and the support on course from locals, from people overseas. We have a lot of Asian supporters. Lots of people come from Japan and other Asian countries for the Gold Coast Marathon, because we're so close to Asia. It's just such a fantastic day, such a wonderful atmosphere.
It really is.
I don't think I've ever heard my name called so. I got to the point where I had to just start blanking out people shouting my name, because I couldn't concentrate on what I was doing.
Can I tell you something funny? Because my bib that I had across my chest also had my name on it. And every time I'd hear my name for like the first 5Ks of the 10K that I did, I'd look around and see if it was somebody I knew, because they knew my name. I'm like, oh shit.
You absolute dickhead. So it was on your chest and you forgot. Oh, well done, you.
Well done. Clap, clap.
But it was it was I'm actually coming away from a marathon feeling good for once.
But how much the signs are just I just
signs
think
are amazing.
There are so many cool new, and some of them are ones that you see all the time, but there's so my favorite was you played Mario as a kid.
Yes.
And so it was the turtle shell, the red turtle shell thing. And you tap it and it sort of jumps up and down and makes the noise and stuff.
Turtle shell, isn't it a mushroom?
Is it maybe a mushroom?
It's a mushroom.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was a turtle shell.
Anyway.
Whatever. And they had this on a sign. Okay, but here's where it gets really cool. It's like tap here to power up. So you hit it with your hand and it makes the noise from the game.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It was awesome. It was so cool.
I've never heard so much enthusiasm come from you before. I
get enthusiastic about stuff.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. That's a really cool idea.
Oh, it was awesome. I was like, this is super, super cool. So we got a photo here with some other some other signs.
We had a particular friend that had some really funny signs, so we love what she did.
Yeah. So Chuck Norris never ran a half marathon.
This is true.
Yep. You're not sweating, you're leaking. Awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Pain is just French for bread.
For those of you that don't know what the French for bread is, it's pain, spelled P-A-I-N.
Yep. And my favourite, if half marathons were easy, they would be your mum.
That is by far my favourite. I saw that and absolutely wet myself.
I
It's
just
so
thought
funny.
that was so good. Because
Well, Gold Coast Marathon has a sign competition, so
do they?
that's why there's so many awesome signs around.
I just think, and I only do the 10K, but, I just think when you see a sign out of the corner of your eye that's funny as hell and it's been well thought out, and it gives you that little bit of, when, for me, it's, the 5-6K mark and I'm starting to question my life choices.
Jesus, you wimp. No, I'm joking.
I know.
For me, it's not until I get to like 35Ks that I start thinking
bragger, whatever. But then you see something I'm like, that's freaking cool. Okay, I'm good now. Let's go. Let's finish this thing off.
See, sadly, because my head is always down and, the fact that I'm blind as a bat, I don't see any of those signs, which is such a shame. But anyway.
But so if you are one of those people that would hang out and yelling and screaming and supporting and had a sign,
shouting our names,
even if you didn't have a sign, but you were you're supporting, thank you. You guys are bloody spectacular.
Yes,
and
you are.
And we do appreciate it.
And do understand that everybody who is out there competing, and even the elites, they hear you and they appreciate your support. So thank you.
100%.
That's us for the day.
I think we're a wrap.
I think we are.
We're a wrap. Yeah.
So next week's show, we've got the incredible Julie Lindsay, who we've spoken about before. She was actually supposed to do an episode before now, but unfortunately couldn't make it. But she is a bodybuilder and has got an incredible story about her cancer journey. So I think you guys want to stick around and tune in for that one.
How do people find us if they want to keep in touch with us, and if they like the dribble that we come up with?
They can find us on Facebook, Two Cripples, One Pair of Legs podcast. They can find us on Instagram, which is twocrips.one pair of legs, or they can just search in Google for Two Cripples, One Pair of Legs podcast. Exactly. Yes.
And check out Podfire as well, which are the amazing group of people that put this all together for us.
Podfire.com.au.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And like I said before, I will put on the videos of us at the skating rink on our socials, because it's pretty fun.
And Caroline's details will also be up for those of you that were listening to the interview.
I called it Drifter Crip.
Drifter Crip.
Drifter Crip.
Jesus.
All right. All right. Have a great day and peace.
Bye. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode of Two Cripples, One Pair of Legs. As always, we'd like to thank our studio guests for joining us, and of course to the legends at Podfire for making all of this come to life. If you like what you've heard, or even if we've offended the shit out of you, but you still want to hear more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also check out our Insta page, twocrips.one pair of legs, and you'll be the first to know when a new episode drops.